The 3 most haunted places on Earth. Would you dare to visit the first? Number 3. Waverly Hills Sanatorium in America. Once a tuberculosis hospital, it is said that thousands died here. Now abandoned, many claim to have seen apparitions and heard inexplicable voices. Moving shadows and cries in the night are just a few of the experiences reported by visitors. It's enough to give you the shivers. Number 2. Bran Castle in Romania. Also known as Dracula's Castle, this place is filled with vampire legends and dark spirits. While Count Dracula is a fictional character, the castle has a real history of battles, deaths, and mysteries that fuel tales of apparitions and paranormal phenomena. Before revealing the number 1, remember to subscribe and like the video. Number 1. The Annabelle Dollhouse in Connecticut. This doll, which inspired the famous horror film series, is said to be possessed by the spirit of a little girl. Kept in a display case at the Warrens Occult Museum, many claim the doll is responsible for a series of paranormal events and curses. Would you dare to look it in the eye?
Earth's Scariest Places, Part 67. Keep scrolling if you don't want nightmares tonight. This castle is the Burg Frankenstein, located outside of Darmstadt, Germany. This is the exact castle that inspired the stories of Frankenstein that you know today. But this castle has its own creepy backstory. In the 17th century, a man by the name of Johann de Pell lived there and conducted extremely controversial experiments. These experiments typically involved dead bodies and live bodies. De Pell made it his life's mission to create the elixir of immortality. Essentially, he tried to create eternal life. He would do so by experimenting on dead bodies, trying to transfer dead souls into live bodies or vice versa. Nobody truly knows the lengths to which his experiments went, but townspeople at the time called them extremely disturbing. He purposely kept his experiments shrouded in secrecy and rumors. There are also rumors that he would capture people from the nearby town to use as subjects, many of whom died in the castle. Today, the walls of the castle are extremely haunted by the souls of those who died in his experiments and possibly even the soul of de Pell himself. People who visit the castle have reported ghosts, strange smells, strange noises, and unexplained happenings. Overall, just a very dark and eerie energy.
Number 8. The Bell Cave. In the late 60s, the Bell family built their house on top of a cave. After some time, they began to experience spiritual attacks from a witch. Every night, this witch would come and attack them, leaving injuries on their body, scars all over, and scratches on their face. When they consulted an exorcist to find out what the problem was, the witch said that her burial site was disturbed when the Bell family was building their house. This was a drawing that was done after she described how she looked to the exorcist. When this was done, the Bell family decided to investigate the cave under their house, and that was when they found this gate. Someone built this gate to keep something from coming out of the cave. What could it have been? Number 7. The Hellfire Club. The Hellfire Club is a burnt-down building that was once used by an occultic group to have their meetings. One day, a traveler who was tired from his journey decided to go into this building to seek rest. When he got in, he noticed that the building was filled up with only men, and one of them was putting on a costume with a horn and wings, just like the picture. He thought to himself, maybe this is part of the entertainment. He asked for a drink and began to play a game of cards until he became drunk. It was no surprise when one of his cards fell out of his hands. When he bent down to pick up the cards, he noticed that everybody in the bar had hooves instead of feet. A chill went down his spine. That was when everyone in the bar transformed and began to chase him. Unfortunately, he could not escape. This man was never to be seen again. Soon after, the building caught fire and everything inside was burnt. People never could explain why this fire started or how it started. But one thing is for sure, no one is allowed into the Hellfire Club, even until deeds. Join me as we get to number 1.
Buckle your seatbelts for another tale of the supernatural. What if I told you that one of the most haunted places in the world is a castle in Ireland where centuries of violence, betrayal, and dark rituals have left behind restless spirits? This is something you must hear to believe. Today we're going to share the mystery of Leap Castle, Ireland's most haunted castle. Located in County Offaly, this fortress has a dark and bloody history that has earned it a reputation as one of the scariest places on Earth. But before we get into that, there's something even more unsettling about this castle. An entity known as the elemental spirit lurks within its walls. I'll share the details in just a moment. Leap Castle was built in the late 15th century by the powerful O'Carroll clan, a family infamous for their ruthless and violent ways. The castle became the site of numerous acts of betrayal and murder, as the O'Carrolls fought for dominance within their own ranks. One of the most notorious events took place in the Bloody Chapel, where a power struggle between two brothers turned deadly. During a mass, one brother, driven by ambition, murdered his sibling, a priest, right in the middle of the ceremony. To this day, the priest's ghost is said to haunt the chapel, with visitors often reporting sightings of a shadowy figure in clerical robes, faint whispers echoing through the halls, and an overwhelming chill in the air. But before we delve deeper into the castle's gruesome past, let's return to that mysterious and terrifying presence, the elemental spirit. Some say this malevolent entity predates the O'Carrolls themselves and may have been summoned during ancient rituals on the land. I'll share more about this in just a moment, but believe me, there's much more to uncover. Beneath the Bloody Chapel lies an oubliette, a hidden dungeon where prisoners were thrown to suffer a slow and agonizing death. When the oubliette was discovered in the early 20th century, workers were horrified to find hundreds of human skeletons impaled on wooden spikes. The O'Carrolls used this pit to dispose of their enemies in the most gruesome way possible. The spirits of these unfortunate souls are believed to haunt the castle, with many visitors reporting agonizing moans, sudden drops in temperature, and shadowy figures lurking in the dark corners of the dungeon. Remember when I mentioned the elemental spirit? Well, here's the jaw-dropping part about it. This entity is described as a dark, shadowy figure with a foul stench of sulfur and decaying flesh, instilling terror in those who encounter it. The elemental is believed to be a manifestation of the castle's violent history, embodying the fear, anger, and suffering of those who perished within its walls. Those who have experienced its presence describe an overwhelming sense of dread, often fleeing the scene immediately. Okay, so we've explored the haunted history of Leap Castle, the tragic spirits that linger in the Bloody Chapel, the grisly discovery in the oubliette, and the terrifying presence of the elemental. It's been an interesting tale, hasn't it? Don't miss out on more spine-chilling tales. Follow us for more paranormal stories.
Scary facts you didn't know. In Ohio, there's a place known as the Franklin Castle. Built in the late 1800s, this Victorian mansion has a dark history filled with tragic deaths and sinister secrets. Over the years, it's been the site of numerous unexplained phenomena. Visitors report hearing children crying, seeing shadowy figures moving through the halls, and doors slamming shut on their own. Some say they've encountered the ghost of a woman in black who roams the house at night. Paranormal investigators have captured chilling EVP recordings and mysterious cold spots. Enter at your own risk.
Did you know that Chillingham Castle in Northumberland, England, is considered one of the most haunted castles in the world? Known for its ghostly apparitions and chilling atmosphere, this medieval fortress has witnessed centuries of bloodshed and torment. Visitors report sightings of the Blue Boy, whose ghostly wails echo through the castle, and a lady in white who drifts silently through the halls. Paranormal investigators have captured unexplained phenomena, from cold spots to mysterious whispers. With its dark dungeons and gruesome past, Chillingham Castle remains a magnet for those daring enough to encounter its restless spirits.
This is the reason why you stay away from haunted houses. A Japanese paranormal investigator by the name Gashan explored a house that locals feared and called it Ju-on's house. As Gashan explores the house, he hears footsteps upstairs. Worried homeless people might be up there, he attempts to reason with them by letting them know he'll leave if they're up there. He doesn't get a response back, so he carefully explores the upstairs rooms and makes a horrifying discovery. He finds Buddha's altars in the first room, and in the second room, he finds an old knife which disturbs him. Shortly after entering that room, he hears a bell somewhere in the house. As he explores the house for 30 more minutes, he can't find the source of the sound, so he finally decides to make his way out. And when he goes downstairs, this happens. He unknowingly records what looks like someone's legs swinging above the stairs he just went through. He didn't even realize it until looking at the video.
It opened up in the 1800s as a segregated mental asylum. I wonder what this room was used for. Many reports of abuse were made here over the years. It shut down in the 1990s after 6 patients were found dead.
Do you believe?
This is Dalhousie Castle in Scotland. It's 800 years old. And the reason why we're here is because the place is rumoured to be haunted.
Australian reporter Helen Parker never believed in ghosts. That is, until the journalist investigated Dalhousie Castle, an 800-year-old haunted castle in Scotland. Parker was so confident that she decided to go alone into the castle's dungeon at 2 a.m. Just her and a camera.
It's now nearly 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm down here in the dungeon. We were having dinner earlier tonight down here. It's definitely a very, very different mood now. The rest of the castle have gone to bed. Now I should point out I'm the only one in the dungeon. Just me and my camera, and I'm facing the only doorway. So, had no signs of her tonight. But if ever you were going to see a ghost, you think it would be here.
After sitting for a while and witnessing nothing, she even starts joking about how the castle's ghost called Lady Catherine might be, quote, rubbish.
So maybe it's all just rubbish. Maybe it's all just hocus pocus. Maybe there is no such thing as ghosts whatsoever.
Then she even starts taunting the supposed spirit.
Anyway, I'm prepared to wait. Catherine. Oh, Catherine. It's creeping me out now. Okay, I get it. I'm going. Okay, Catherine, I get it. Then something moves in the dungeon.
The dark history behind Rochester's abandoned Terence Tower Asylum. The doors first opened in 1959. Until the 1980s, former nurses and floor staff recall multiple instances of patient abuse. People with anything from mild to extreme issues were locked away somewhere within the asylum. Patients would undergo inhumane treatments like electroshock therapy,
Have you ever taken a glimpse back into the 1900s and explored the sprawling mental asylums of the time? It's remarkable how vast these buildings were, with thousands of rooms. one can't help but question why such massive structures were constructed. Consider the resources required for their construction, especially when contrasted with the simple wooden shacks that were prevalent during the same era. These small, humble dwellings dotted the landscape, yet towering mental asylums dominated the skyline, serving as repositories for those who deviated from societal norms. These institutions weren't just for the clinically ill, they became tools of societal control. Individuals who spoke out against prevailing ideologies, whether it be the proliferation of radio or resistance to mandatory vaccinations or taxation, found themselves confined within these imposing walls. It's unsettling to realize that dissenters were silenced through institutionalization, effectively reducing the population of those who challenged the status quo. The history of these asylums and their role in societal conformity is a topic that merits deeper exploration. Yet, despite their significance, these structures have largely been erased from our physical landscape. The demolition of these institutions raises questions about the erasure of uncomfortable truths from our collective memory. Why do we feel the need to purge such history? It's a question worth pondering.